educational webinar series. Today's topic, Your Healthy Eating Guide for the Holidays, and our very special guest is Kelly Springer. If you are having difficulty listening to the audio portion of this presentation on your computer speakers, you may switch to listening to the audio portion via telephone at any time during this presentation. The telephone number and access code are below, and they will appear at the bottom of each slide. If you are listening by phone and you lose your connection, all you have to do is redial that phone number, enter that same access code, and you'll be immediately reconnected to this presentation. And remember, technical support is 866-569-3239. Now, for those of you who may not have joined us from one of our webinars in the past, I wanted to take a moment and show you how best to communicate with us during this presentation. You'll notice in the lower right-hand corner of your screen a Q&A box and a chat box. If you do not see those screens, just look up here at the top and you'll see a chat icon and a Q&A icon. If you tap either of those, your chat box or your Q&A box will appear. If you have a question of our speaker today, please type your question in the Q&A box. You type in the smaller box to the bottom, press send, and then your message appears up here in the Q&A box. That way, when we get to the end of the presentation, we will have a list of questions that we can answer in the order in which they are received. If you are having a technical issue or need a response from us behind the scenes, it's much better to use the chat box because the chat box is two-way communication. It's very similar how you access it. Just type in the small box at the bottom of the Q&A or the bottom of the chat box, rather, press send. But in this instance, before you press send, if you wish to send it privately, you can use the drop-down list to select, for example, Lexi Locke, who is our webinar host today, and send your message to her. If you do ask a question or have some type of difficulty that you've sent in the chat box, please do monitor the chat box because that's the way that we will be able to get back in touch with you to answer your question. Well, now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Kelly Springer. She started her career at the age of 17, and she's worked in clinical, residential, bariatric, community, retail, and in the media as a registered dietitian. She owns her own nutrition company, Kelly's Choice. She helps to promote the message of real food, intelligent choices, healthy choices. And you can learn more about Kelly at kellyschoice.org. I have listened to Kelly speak in the past, and I find her absolutely delightful and just a wealth of information about healthy eating. And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you today Kelly Springer. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that nice introduction. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to hearing everything that you have to say about stress-free holiday eating and reducing your risk for holiday weight gain. That's news all of us can use.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So thank you, everyone, for attending today. I hope that you do have lots of questions that we can answer at the end, and I look forward to speaking with all of you. So welcome to Kelly's Choice. We're going to be talking today about stress-free holiday eating and reducing your risk for holiday weight gain. Now, the reason we're talking about that is because during the holiday season, between October 31st and December 31st, you can gain somewhere around 5 to 10 pounds, which is crazy. But by the time we're done with this, you'll understand how easy it is to gain the 5 to 10 pounds. So I'm going to help you to not gain it this year. Today, we're going to be going over how to de-stress your holidays and give you tips to make them a little bit healthier. First, we'll be creating a healthy eating plan to go through the holiday season, and then we'll be talking about what to bring to the parties, what cocktails to choose, and how to navigate the restaurant menu. We'll explore some calorie amounts of some of your holiday staples, and lastly, we'll give you some great recipe modifications that can help to reduce your calories and benefit your health. So the first thing is creating a plan and to plan ahead. When we plan ahead, we tend to choose healthier options. By eating protein and vegetables, you'll fill up on the good stuff and leave less room for the sugar bomb types of foods. Sugar reduces your immunity and increases inflammation in the body. The antioxidants and vitamins in vegetables will combat the inflammation and boost immunity. So try to choose small protein and fiber-packed foods during the day before the gathering and even that day. Some great ideas are sweet peppers and cheese, veggies and hummus, a handful of nuts, and carrots and guacamole. You'll see here that I paired a protein pretty much, a fat, and a veggie with every single one of these. Those three in combination will help fill you up and keep you full to avoid the sugar and the carbohydrates. Also, when we keep healthy foods around us, we're more likely to eat them and avoid the high sugar and high fat foods. So shop for nutritious foods. Also, we're going to go through in a few minutes some holiday recipes that are going to make them healthier by swapping out some few items. Also, add lean proteins and healthy fats to all meals and snacks. When we add protein to a meal, it helps slow the uptake of sugar into our bloodstream and therefore helps to regulate blood sugar levels. This is important because you'll not have sugar highs and lows. Examples of some healthy fats would be avocado, olive oil, red palm oil, coconut oil, and nuts. These will help the body to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K that are essential for health. Also, by adding quality botanicals to boost your mood and to reduce stress response. Also, make time for movement. Walking does count. It has been proven that just 3 10-minute movement periods are just as effective as one 30-minute period of exercise. So don't think you have to go out for 30 minutes to an hour. You can do it in little bits of spurts of exercise. It's also extremely helpful to exercise after a meal. You can lower your blood glucose level by about 30 points if you walk just 10 minutes after the meal. So think and pause before you eat. Ask yourself these questions before eating. Am I really hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I just bored or am I tired? Most Americans are dehydrated, about 85% of us. We should be getting at least 64 ounces of fluid every single day. Dehydration can lead to headaches, leg and feet cramps, and even hunger. So try to get in non-sugary beverages throughout the day to decrease your risk of dehydration. An easy way to see how much hydration you should be getting in is to take your body weight and divide it by 2. That's about how many ounces of water you should be having a day. So put yourself in charge of your body. Also, keeping a food journal can be extremely helpful during the holidays. With food everywhere you look during the holiday season, it's easy to forget everything that you're putting in your mouth. Writing it down helps you keep tabs and help become mindful. Now, this doesn't have to happen every single day, but if you try to write down some food journal entries a couple times during the holidays, you'll see all those little extra foods that are coming in and also the extra calories from fluid that we're talking about in just a moment too. During the family gatherings and cocktail parties, try to bring something healthy with you. I always recommend my patients to bring in a veggie tray or a fruit tray. It's amazing how much people love the fruit and veggie tray and it gets eaten, plus you know that there will be something good and healthy there for you to eat as well. Also, try to put everything on a plate. It has been studied down at Cornell University that if you use a plate, it actually works with the brain to correlate with the stomach to fill you up. I know that a lot of us have been to the Expo East and Expo West and we're tasting food all day long. Never do we ever get full of eating that food. That's because we don't have the correlation between the mind and the stomach. So when you put things on a plate, it really gives you the realization of how much you're eating. What I recommend is to start with 3 items on that plate and to fill up that plate also with fruits, vegetables, and protein to help keep you in track. When we choose the right foods, it's going to help fill us up and keep us full. Also, it will help us to reduce our intake of sugar, which again will help us to increase our immunity and not to grow our waistline this holiday season. Also, adding in some botanicals can keep you calm and healthy. Dealing with our families can spur anxiety. Many herbs can calm the nerves and boost your immunity. These will help protect your adrenal glands from the common cold. Herbs like ashwagandha and mandarin can help to calm you. Trapped chelated minerals also absorb more rapidly into our systems to help support good health all year long. So stay in control. All of these things can lead to overeating. Our mood, stress, fatigue. If you feel well rested and more in control, you will be able to make better choices. And I love this comic. Stress is dessert spelled backwards. So that's how we're always into sugar and sweets when we're stressed out. Adaptogens for mood are fantastic. So there are many natural botanical ingredients that can help with mood, resilience, stamina, and stress. A specific case of botanicals that I like are the adaptogens. Now, the adaptogens help the body adapt or adjust to strains and the challenges of daily living. They have a normalizing effect on the body, so they do not push in one way or the other, but help to modulate the body's response. These adaptogens are very safe and non-toxic. Two adaptogenic botanicals that I like are rhodiola and ashwagandha. Rhodiola is the native mountainous regions of Russia and China and is considered the ultimate power herb to reduce fatigue and effects of stress. Also can increase libido and help with mood and stamina. How many of us want some stamina during the holiday time? Also, ashwagandha is native to India and is the ancient healing system of Ayurveda. It helps to increase sexual vitality, relieve anxiety, and has calming properties. So look for these ingredients in clinically studied forms and standardized to contain more of the key health-promoting compounds. Anxiety and stress can lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms and habits like negative self-talk, irritability, fatigue, depression, and even lead to unhealthy eating choices. This holiday, for many people, it creates excessive anxiety and stress, so we need to counteract that with the right food choices and support them by healthy mood and natural stress relievers. Lemon Balm helps to inhibit the enzyme in the body that breaks down the neurotransmitter GABA. GABA helps to stop anxiety and sleeplessness. Also, holy basil is used in Ayurveda and known as the queen of herbs. The incomparable one, and it was considered the elixir of life, helps to relieve stress, normalize blood sugar, and supports adrenals. A good night's sleep is always necessary when we're dealing with the holidays. If we are tired, we are going to be more stressed out, and also food is energy and sleep is energy. If we are not getting a good night's sleep, we will turn to food. And insufficient sleep is a public health epidemic. It is estimated that up to 70 million Americans have occasional trouble sleeping. And this lack of sleep can lead to trouble concentrating, lower productivity, lower reaction time, and also mood disturbances and depression. So look for products that combine lemon balm extract with oils of mandarin, raven sarah, and also lavender. These time-tested ingredients will help support deep and restorative sleep that will help you wake without any grogginess. A good night's sleep can set you for a great start in a new day, and it will help with those healthy eating goals as well. So definitely look for these, all four of these, in the blend of using the extract of the lemon balm and the oils in the combination of the raven sarah and the lavender. So these are some great tips when having parties and gatherings. The number one thing is to stay away from the food table. How many of you have been around a food table where you just keep picking at the food? So walk away, stay far away, or if you have the food in the kitchen, don't put it on the table where you're eating. Keep it in the kitchen. Also, engaging in conversation will help you from overeating. I know myself, I usually have a piece of broccoli or something stuck in my teeth while I'm trying to talk to someone. So this keeps me from overeating or eating at all while I'm in conversations at a holiday gathering. It's also okay to say no thank you to some foods. You do not have to try everything. This is not a 2-bite rule at holiday time. You can say no thank you and move away. Also, we're going to get into the next slide, but alcohol can have some empty calories, and when you drink alcohol, you have less resistance to choosing unhealthy foods. When I worked in the hospital setting, they used to actually give alcohol to patients that had a low appetite. So it's pretty amazing of how alcohol can spur you to want to eat. The next is to eat, drink, and be savvy. Now, alcohol does have calories. A 12-ounce beer can have about 145 calories. A 5-ounce glass of wine is about 125 calories. And I know my wine glass is probably no less than 10 ounces. So right there, I'm getting about 250 calories per glass. Also, your Kahlua and your Irish creams, any of your cream liqueurs, are going to be even more calories than about a Krispy Kreme donut. It's pretty amazing that there's that many calories in alcohol. And let's not even talk about eggnog. 1 cup of eggnog has about 290 calories. You add a shot of spirits and you're up to 350 calories. This is about the amount of calories in an average breakfast or lunch. So again, be careful of mixers also with your alcohol. Soda and juices are loaded with sugar and empty calories, and most people do not know that even tonic water has the same amount of sugar as soda. Even juices like orange juice can have about 22 grams of sugar in just 1 cup. So when you're mixing your alcohol, be careful of all that added extra sugar. So as you can see, the frozen margarita, again, about 246 calories. Pina colada, which is one of my favorites, 312 calories. A rum and Coke is about 361. So just recently, working with a patient that was diabetic, she was checking her blood glucose levels, and after she went to a holiday party, she was drinking rum and Coke. She had 2 or 3 rum and Cokes. She got home that evening, she tested her blood sugar levels, and her levels were 300 points higher by drinking those rum and Cokes. So this is one time where I would say, try to go more towards the diet if you're going to do the Coke. Some better choices would be Bloody Mary, which is about 140 calories, a screwdriver, 130, and just your martini, which is gin, or if you have vodka too, about 119 calories. And again, that wine is somewhere between the 120 to 125. Some recommendations are to drink a glass of water in between this type of drinking. So if you're having wine, try to grab that glass of water, or if you add in some sparkling water, you can cut down that wine also by half. You can also use that sparkling water to cut your juice to cut that sugar as well. All right, so now we're on to restaurants. And the restaurants can be a scary place anytime during the year, especially the holidays. So you can check out that menu online before you go out to determine what the healthy options would be. A great site is called calorieking.com. You can go on there and find pretty much every single chain restaurant, and you can look up the calories, sugar, fat of that item before you go out. Now, I know it's going to be kind of depressing. When I was in New York City and they first came out with putting the calories on the menu, the salad that I would have chosen had 1,200 calories. Crazy. It had the dressing, the avocado, the egg, so some good things, but it had a lot of calories. The burger had 700. So it's kind of a great thing if you can know ahead of time of what you're going to order so you can make some really great choices. Also, a fantastic tip is to order your food first before anybody else does. This will help to avoid being swayed by others when making decisions. So if you chose to have that Caesar salad, you're not going to be impacted by somebody ordering that great pasta dish or maybe even that crazy burger. Also, before you begin to eat, look at the amount of food that's on your plate. Is it too much? We have a local restaurant that serves a chicken parm that is falling off your plate. It serves probably a family of 4. It's pretty crazy. So if you do see that you get a meal like that, just decide to eat half of it. You can even ask your waitress to bring a box ahead of time so you don't have to be tempted to have that food in front of you. Comfort foods like pizza, sugar, refined grains, and soda. Also, deep fried foods can increase inflammation. And also, inflammation is the cause of almost every single chronic disease that we have today. Also, I want you to try to eat slowly, taste and enjoy your food. Give your brain a chance to tell your body you're getting full. Now, this was a hard one for me. I was raised with 3 older brothers, and I had to eat very, very quickly, or the food would be eaten from me. So remember to slow down. Also, when I worked in bariatrics, we had to have our patients chew about 20 times per bite to be able to absorb those nutrients. I want at your next meal, maybe for even lunch today, if you can try to practice chewing more times per bite and swallowing slowly. It's going to slow you down and your brain's going to be able to catch up with your stomach more easily. So give it a try today and see what you can do. When I first tried this, we had pizza one night. I took a bite about the size of my head. I chewed it 3 times and swallowed. And probably a lot of you are laughing in the background right now, but it's amazing how fast we eat. So slow down and enjoy your food. Also, be careful not to drink up some unwanted calories. Now, when we're sitting at a restaurant, we may not be thinking of that sweet tea, of how many calories that might be bringing in. Yesterday, I was at a conference, and I saw this lady had a water bottle, or this lemonade bottle, so we took a look at the back of it. It was just Minute Maid lemonade. In one bottle, it had 67 grams of sugar, just in one lemonade. So even if you think it's a better choice for your kids than soda, it actually had more sugar than the soda did. Also, we all know about soda too, to really avoid that when we're eating out. But also our alcohol plays in here too. So just be careful not to drink a lot of unwanted calories. Being mindful when you're at the restaurant to enjoy the companies of others. If you're talking and having conversation, you're more likely to slow down and not to overeat. So we have here some really fun things, or what are the healthier choices? Now, these aren't great choices, and they are full of sugar. We have the pumpkin pie and the pecan pie, but you can see we went from 280 calories in the pumpkin pie to 490 in the pecan pie, and we're not even talking about the sugar level here. Lots and lots of sugar in the pecan pie. Another way to cut down calories when we're talking about pies or desserts are to skip the crust. The crust is usually made from a fat like butter or Crisco, which is really going to increase your amount of calories in that food. Also, we have the example of a brown and serve roll versus a crescent roll. Now, we're going to save some calories there too by saving with the brown and serve roll versus the crescent. Also, we have the 3 ounces of a turkey drumstick, which is considered more of our dark meat, versus our 3-ounce breast of meat, which is our white meat. You're going to go from 150 calories down to 95. There's some really good choices there, and also switching from butter down to gravy. Now, I would switch to gravy any day of the week, but we're going to save about 100 calories or 70 calories by switching from the butter to the gravy. So these are just some healthy options. Anywhere that you can reduce your caloric intake by 30, 50 calories is going to help a lot. When we talked earlier, when I started the session, we talked about gaining that 5 to 10 pounds during the holiday season. Now you see how easy it is. By adding in 500 calories per day, you can add a pound per week. And think about how long that holiday season is. So if you can reduce your intake of caloric value, you're going to save yourself and your waistline. Now, this is some great things too. There are so many traditions during the holidays, and recipes are one of them. So take your mother's and grandmother's old recipes and make them new again with some of these great tips that I have for you. These are some recipe modifications that can really help to reduce your intake of sugar and calories. So using some unsweetened applesauce for sugar, oil, and butter can really help to keep that product moist and also reduce your caloric intake. When we replace whole wheat flour for white flour, we're going to be adding in B vitamins and fiber. Now, I don't recommend switching completely over because it may not taste the same as your grandmother's or your mother's recipe. So even if we cut this in half with whole wheat flour, it's going to increase your nutrients and decrease your sugar intake. Did you know you can use avocado puree for butter? It's actually 1-to-1. It's a cup of avocado for a cup of butter. This is going to switch from our good fats, our monounsaturated fats, from our saturated fats. Also a really yummy one, you can use marshmallow fluff instead of frosting. Frosting is made primarily from butter, and so therefore it's going to decrease our fat intake and our caloric intake. Also vanilla for stevia for sugar. Now stevia is 300 times sweeter than sugar, so it's not a direct correlation. So for 1 cup of sugar, you only need 1 teaspoon of liquid stevia or 2 tablespoons of stevia powder. Okay, so make sure, because if you try to go 1-to-1, it's going to be way, way, way too sweet. Also, you can use mashed bananas for fats. So again, that's about 1 cup of banana to 1 cup of oil or butter, saving you there as well and adding in some potassium. Graham crackers can be great for cookies, and also they can be really good as the crust. So instead of using, like we talked about before, the Crisco and butter crust, we can be using that graham cracker just smashed up on the bottom, and it forms a perfect crust. Also, evaporated skim milk for cream. And lastly, one of my favorite thing to do is the Greek yogurt for sour cream. So anywhere you see sour cream for any of the dips that you're making this year, you can use plain Greek yogurt instead. This is going to cut a ton of fat, a ton of calories, and it's going to increase your protein by about 14 grams per serving. So you can do about 1 cup of butter for a 1/4 cup of yogurt, or 1 cup of oil for 3/4 cup of yogurt. It works in all different types of recipes, and it's absolutely fantastic. It tastes exactly the same. Now, I've tested this out on my kids even, so they are my guinea pigs. And I even put we had baked potatoes, and instead of putting sour cream on the table, I put a bowl of the Greek yogurt. They never knew the difference. So you can even use it for things like that too. We're not even making a dip. So these are just some great recipe modifications that I hope that you will take and be able to use this year to really save you on some calories and increase your nutrition. So enjoy the holidays with your friends and family. I know it can be a very anxiety-ridden time, but if we just relax a little bit, enjoy your meals, savor every single bite, avoid some multitasking while eating. How many of you are eating while you're trying to make your dinner? You probably ate a whole dinner before the time you even got to sit down. So something I recommend too, maybe put a piece of gum in your mouth while you're cooking, so you're less likely to take those little bites and chews throughout the day. Also, get out of the kitchen. Go take a walk or play a game. Anything to distract you from that smell of that turkey or ham that's cooking. And be mindful. Take in the sights, the sounds, and the taste of the holidays. I love that we have family that finally comes around. There's a lot of laughter and fun. So enjoy every bit of it and have a great time and stay healthy this holiday season. So thank you so much for your time and for logging in today. I hope that you got a lot from that. And thank you very much.
Kelly, that was amazing. Thank you so much for that wonderful information. And I have to tell you, there was one tiny part of your delightful presentation that was depressing, and that was me finally understanding how close the holidays are. I'm not prepared. I guess, Christmas is like a month and a half away. Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away. How did this happen? It snuck up on us.
It absolutely did. It did.
Oh.
And, we have Thanksgiving is less than 2 weeks, so it's coming up very, very fast.
Do you and your family have a favorite yummy Thanksgiving dish that's also healthy?
Well, something that I make, and I'm not sure if it's in all areas, because I know I live in New York State, and something that we have here is called a rye boat dip. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that before. Ever heard of that?
Rye is like rye bread? Like rye?
Like rye
oat?
bread, yes. You take rye bread, and it comes like in a big, huge loaf, and you dig out the middle, and we use a dill dip. So this is using Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, light mayo instead of whole mayo, Beaumont seasoning, dill, dried onion, and I think parsley as well. And you mix it all together, and you can even use some chopped meat in there too. And you use it with, and you can dip in the rye bread, or you can dip in veggies. And that's something that we have at every single holiday time. And it's my favorite thing in the whole wide world.
Well, I've had spinach dip in like a whole wheat round bread, with sort of similar idea. But that's really tasty. That's really nice.
It's the Beaumont seasoning is one of the key ingredients, and a lot of people have never heard of that seasoning before. It's a mixture of
Beaumont.
O-D-E, yep, so Beaumont.
Oh, like beautiful world, Beaumont. All right.
Yep, and that is the key spice, along with the dill, to make it have that amazing flavor.
Well, what's in the Beaumont spice, or do you know? Is it just like a blend of?
I know. Let me grab it. I have it right here, and I think that there's a celery salt in it, which is interesting of how that combination. I was trying to see if I had it right here to look at, but I don't see it in my spice cupboard right now. But it is a mixture of seasonings.
That's excellent.
Oh, I have it right here. Here it is. So it is a mixture of onion, celery seed, and salt.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds like the rye bread would really go well with all of those different flavorings.
It does. It's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
So it's one of those holiday favorites.
Do you have one guilty indulgence that you allow yourself only a small portion of in the holiday season?
Well, pumpkin is one of my favorite spices in the entire world. Anything that's pumpkin, I love all of that. Cinnamon and all of the flavors. So my favorite thing in the whole wide world are the pumpkin whooping pies. Have you ever had that?
No.
So it's almost like a half moon cookie, but so they use, it's like a cookie, and then they put cream cheese frosting on top. So it's a pumpkin base with cream cheese frosting. And it is to die for.
So you stand far away from those.
Yes. So I do get one every year. I haven't had one yet this year, and they usually come out because we live in apple country. So they usually have them out when we're going apple picking, and I haven't had one yet, but I will definitely have one probably at Thanksgiving.
Now, here's a question that did come in asking about children. Children's eating during the holidays, because children are eating unhealthier foods as well. Do you have any special tips for trying to get the kids to eat a little healthier?
Absolutely. I have a 10 and 8-year-old, so this is something that I am completely on top of. I think that during the holiday season, there's a lot of candy that's being put out. By limiting the amount of candy, by talking to your kids about what is appropriate portion size of eating candy, not that we have to be complete food Nazis, but just say, if you eat too much of this, you're going to get sick, both getting a cold and a stomachache. So that's something I should teach my kids about appropriate portion sizes of those unhealthy foods. Also, to talk about foods that we want to endorse, something that I try to do is once a week, I get a fruit or a veggie tray and keep it in the refrigerator. So the kids are right there. They can go in anytime and grab those healthy food options. Even if they may be watching cartoons or a show, I'll put out that veggie or fruit tray for them to eat.
Mm-hmm. Is there children usually have no trouble at all eating the fruits. Sometimes they're not so keen on eating the vegetables. Any ideas?
Well, that dip that I just told you about can be fantastic with veggies. So it's okay to have a little bit of hummus or a little bit of ranch dip or something to make those veggies fun too. Cutting them into some fun shapes and having them do the cutting, they're more likely to eat it if they have helped to make it.
Well, that's a great idea. That sounds wonderful. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kelly, we thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to share these holiday hints with us. It's just in time for the holidays, which are going to be here very quickly. I hope that you'll come back again and talk to us again about healthy eating choices. Thank you.
Absolutely. I definitely will. Thank you.
And folks, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to learn more about healthier options with our guest today, our very special guest, Kelly Springer, registered dietitian. We do have an upcoming event in December. December 17th, we'll be hosting an event on longevity, the 4 steps to slow the aging process and live your best and longest life. So I hope that you will join us for that. For more information, you can contact us at terrytalksnutrition.com. On that website, you will find a place where you can sign up for a free weekly newsletter. We are very scrupulous with your emails. They are not sold or traded to other companies. So if you would like a weekly dose of natural medicine, that's a nice thing to sign up for. On that website, you can also listen to recordings of past seminars. You can ask Terry Lemmerand your specific personal questions. There's an Ask Terry question. You can find us on Facebook at Facebook.com/Terry Talks Nutrition, and follow Terry on Twitter for both inspirational and natural medicine messages at Twitter.com/Terry Lemmerand. So thank you all of you today for joining us for today's presentation. Thank you for taking time to learn more about natural health and all of its aspects and all of the ways that it can make us healthier. So until we meet again, good health to you. Bye-bye.